Hey guys, it's Joe from Joe's Talking. Welcome back to another one of my ridiculous videos. I have a brand new toy. I'm so excited about this lens because for the longest time, I was trying to figure out which camera to use for making my videos. I ended up falling in love with the DJI Action 5 Pro. The DJI Action 5 Pro, for the most part, has been my workhorse camera. Yes, I know it's not a full frame camera. Yes, I know it's got some grainy footage, but it has been so easy to use that is the camera that I have been using. And a lot of people who are watching my videos really like the content on the Action 5 Pro. So I just keep making it. I mean, you know what? I'm gonna keep going until you guys stop watching. But that being said, there are many times I watch videos of content creators and I'm like, wow, that footage looks beautiful. 9 times out of 10, they are using a prime lens. I had to try this. This is the 16mm f1.8. Okay, so currently what I am shooting on right now is the DJI Pocket 3 to shoot this video because I don't have another full frame camera to shoot this. And I gotta tell you, this thing pairs so nicely with a Sony ZV-E1. It is ridiculous. Look how small. I know it's not as small as an Action 5 Pro, but for the most part, is so incredibly compact. 16mm is most likely wide enough I can just hold it by the lens, right? And walk around like this. Now, it's nowhere close to being as easy to use as, say, the Action 5 Pro or the Pocket 3, because those are so much lighter, but maybe it's worth the sacrifice of the bokeh and the full frame goodness that this camera can bring. So let me give you reasons why you may want to try out the Sony 16mm f1.8. It gives you a nice expansive view. At 16mm, you get more of a natural wide field. Wide, Joe. Wide. It gives you a natural wide field of view. Number 2, this has an f1.8 aperture. Like I said before, you can get beautiful bokeh. It also means it lets in a ton of light, which will mean it'll probably look great in low light. The Sony ZV-E1 has the same sensor as the Sony a7S III, so that's what I'm working with. That already does really well in low light, and then you add a 16mm f1.8, a lens that is that fast, and it's gonna look pretty good, I'm guessing. Number 3, the compact lightweight design. This is only 304 grams. It is so light. Look how small that is. Let me show you what I was using. This is my Tamron 17-28, and this is the 16mm f1.8 next to it. Look at the size difference. This was already small, but this is a lot smaller. If you like to shoot video, like I guess most of you who watch this channel are, this supports the focus breathing compensation mode in the Sony ZV-E1 and some of the other Sony cameras. It also pairs really nicely with the dynamic and active stabilization modes in the Sony ZV-E1. Now let's say you like to do some close focusing videography like I am right now. You can be 5.9 inches away from your subject and still get a beautiful shot. And the last thing you may not want to sleep on is the price. $800 bucks. $800 bucks for this lens. That is a very reasonable price. It is not a G Master lens, but it is a G. Let me put together the kit that I will be using on this video so you guys can get a full understanding of what you are looking at. Again, Sony ZV-E1 body, Sony 16mm f1.8. Match the dots, Joe, match the dots. White dots, white dot. Boom, look at that small setup. That's a pretty nice little setup. So small for a full frame, right? Super small. I will be using this. This is the Peter Mckinnon 2 to 5 stop variable ND filter. So that's my kit. That's what we're going with. Now let's go outside, or let's go somewhere and let's test this thing out. I told you I'd go outside, and here I am outside. I am here in Koreatown in downtown Los Angeles, or at least close to downtown Los Angeles. Okay, so here I am running around with the lens. Now, one thing I can probably already tell, at f1.8, it lets in a ton of light. So I'm having to use the variable ND filter as I'm walking around. Right now, it actually looks pretty good, but I can tell that if you were in direct sunlight, like today, let me show you guys. Look at the sun. Today, it's overcast, so it's totally fine. But I can imagine if you are in direct sunlight and you're not using a variable ND filter, you will not be able to take advantage of the f1.8 aperture. Excuse me, what's the name of the store?
Shibuya.
Shibuya? How do you spell it? Oh, there it is, Shibuya. Shibuya, but like LA.
Part of Japan.
Uh-huh.
And they're just mixing LA and Shibuya.
Okay, so Shibuya, LA, basically.
Shibuya.
Shibuya, okay. All right, thank you.
Provide me shade and I really thrive on it. Wanted to your sheet, couldn't keep on these sunny. Sipping lemonade from my lemon tree, honey. Let me spill the tea on all these haters, all love me. Broke about the killing it, winning attitude. 당당하게 올라가, see my altitude. 주문을 걸어봐, yeah.
Okay, here I am at a Korean pavilion here in Koreatown, and this place is called Dawoljung. Let me show you the spelling here so you can see. Dawoljung. I just wanted to show you guys this place, and I figured it'd be an interesting way to showcase the lens. This entire pavilion was built by hand by artisans from South Korea to commemorate Korean immigrants coming here to Los Angeles. Look over here, there's tables. I'm guessing that a lot of the seniors will come here, the Korean seniors will come here, and they will gather, play cards, maybe talk about their grandkids. And the beautiful thing about this place is what it symbolizes. And they built this to commemorate the Korean immigration into the United States. And the most fascinating thing about this beautiful structure is that it wasn't made without any hammers, nails, or cement. Can you believe that? Guys, so one thing I do want to point out about this lens in particular, and about today specifically, where I am shooting here in Koreatown, is that it is completely overcast. That's actually a really great thing for this lens, because that 1.8 aperture is a super fast lens, which means it lets in a lot of light, which means you can really blow out your highlights. But this cloudy day is the perfect day to use this lens. And those of you who live in climates, say England, or places that are overcast a lot and gray a lot, this may be a really great lens for you guys, because you can get that beautiful sort of separation from your background, and you don't really have to worry as much about blowing out your highlights. So I just happened upon this park here in Koreatown, and these retired guys are playing soccer like they are in their 20s. It is kind of incredible that they can move around and play such an active sport at their age. I mean, some of these guys are probably in their 70s and 80s. Like, how do you do that? I'm 55 and things are hurting. I don't know how they do that. Anyway, pretty cool. Good for the Korean retirees, you know what I'm saying? Thank you.
Have a good one.
What's the thing behind the pictures? Is there a story behind the pictures? I walked in here not expecting anything, and then I walk into this sea of photos of people, and I thought it was so cool. And each of them are holding what they would say is their favorite object, and they're also wearing their favorite clothes. And this was actually birthed out of the pandemic, when people had a little extra time and they didn't really know what to do. So this guy just started taking photos of all the regulars that come here to the coffee shop, as well as the workers. Haven't figured it out by now, I am no longer in Koreatown. I am here at my third space, which is called Fable. I like to work out of here sometimes, but I wanted to test out the low light on the lens. It is very low light. The lights here are very yellow. This particular room that I am in, just so you guys know, is actually the room where Gary Marshall, the director and writer of Pretty Woman, used to write a lot of his scripts. He's passed on now, but the Gary Marshall Theater still lives on, and this space still lives on. So I get a lot of inspiration when I'm editing here or when I'm working here. That's why I like to come here so much. Hey guys, so I'm poking around here. I probably shouldn't be, but this is something I came across. It says Dover Sad Iron. Now this thing is super heavy, and I think this was an iron back in the day before they had electric irons. You would put this heavy thing on your clothes, maybe after they were wet, or and you would just sort of let this thing get all the wrinkles out. Now I don't know how good it was, but here it is. The Dover Sad Iron. Okay guys, well, I am back from that crazy excursion. I got some closing thoughts and let's talk about it. So those of you who follow my channel know that I do so much content with the DJI Action 5 Pro, and it is not nearly, it's nowhere in the ballpark of picture quality as the Sony ZV-E1, right? So let me explain to you my thought process of why I was getting this lens. I figured if I have the DJI Action 5 Pro and I make all these videos and it's one focal length, if I can make that focal length look good at one focal length, then I can make the 16mm with the Sony ZV-E1 look good too, right? Now I just want to talk about the actual carrying around of the camera, because for me that's kind of a big deal. The bigger your camera, the more inconvenient it is, and probably the less chance that you'll pull it out because you're gonna get lazy. When you first get a camera, you're all excited, but after a while you're like, do I really want to pull that out? So there were a couple times in the video that I was completely struggling to not blow out the highlights. And that is one thing I did not anticipate about using this lens. I didn't even think about it. But like at the soccer field, the highlights, whew, those were fighting. When I was at the fence sitting there, those highlights were very close to being blown out. In the coffee shop, there were several times when I had to pull back the highlights. I had to take the footage into Premiere Pro and slide the highlights all the way to the left so that it wouldn't be blown out. Like right now, I am using the lens and it works amazing for talking head footage. And I'm liking what I'm seeing in the camera, but I am inside, okay? Things are controlled, but when you go outside, it can be a little chaotic because then you're worried about whether or not you're in focus. You know, it's not a planned shot. And for run and gun, there's more variables, and it's just, I guess it's up to me on whether or not I want the hassle, or whether or not, or maybe I just need to work with this lens and this camera setup a little longer so I'm more comfortable with it, the way I am with the Action 5 Pro. Now, one of the benefits of this camera, obviously, is the blurry background, right? The bokeh that you can get. But I have to tell you that there were times when the ZV-E1 had a mind of its own and decided not to put me in focus, and that is a variable that you're going to have to deal with when you're shooting on a lens this fast. And the last thing I want to talk about is the shakiness of the camera, and that is no fault of the lens, but I've shot so much with the Action 5 Pro that I've gotten completely spoiled by that built-in image stabilization. And this has active and dynamic stabilization, and it's pretty good, but nowhere close to the Action camera. But you guys tell me, did the shakiness bother you in this video? Put it in the comments below because I'd be curious. Or maybe the shakiness made it feel more lifelike, you know? A little more jitters, a little more active. I don't know, let me know. Okay, so let me tell you what I'm thinking. Now I'm thinking that the 16-35 power zoom lens may be better for me, because when I was outside, I was constantly fighting to keep those highlights under control. And if I started an f4, that could be a lot easier anyway. Even, you know, I won't get the same blurry background that I'm getting here, but it's a thought. It's what's going through my head. And with the 16-35, you get 16-35, right? But with the clear image zoom, I think it goes all the way up to 50 without losing quality. So that's something to think about. God help me. Do I need the 16-35 power zoom? What's wrong with me? I'll see you guys in the next video.